This pretty good coverage is brought to you by Power Grip, the official retail partner of the European Pro Tour.
Hello and welcome back, fellow disc golf enthusiasts, to coverage of the first EPT of the 2023 season, the Copenhagen Open, here in Valby Park and Disc Golf. This is round 3 back 9 coverage of the FPO lead card, brought to you by MDG Media. You see the top 10 standings here. Our leader, Kaidi Allsalu, sitting at 7 over par, with the lead over second and third. The podium battle continues for all 3 places, with 9 tricky holes to go. Anything could happen. And we kick it off here on hole 10. Par 4, only 130 meters, but with a pure tunnel shot required on your first, what you really want is something straight flying that gets as far as you can get towards this tree line. If you end a little bit to the right on the tee shot, it's a bonus, and as you swing your way either through or around the rough as the drone flew, you have this nice guarded green here, with OB just deep left of it, playing the fairway of 11. Hole 10 is an attackable but tricky par 4. We see here Jenni Karppinen on the tee, gets her backhand super cleanly through. Really well positioned there to try and break through the trees on her second. Kaidi, our leader, so far bogey free in this final round. That will be a very difficult shot that she will have to scramble from. We'll see how she operates in a little bit of trouble now. Silva with a touch of high release, nose up out of the hand, but does push up enough, I think, that she'll have a chance to still fight to the green in her second. Anneli looking like quite an overstable disc. She looks for that soft flex and likely a skip to the right. She finds an early tree. All of these players will still have some form of gap to hit. Nobody out clean yet. Kaidi chooses to simply pitch back into the fairway. We'll see her third shot now. She looks to swing it high and get all the fade towards the green. She will find herself still with an obstructed look, likely taking her first bogey of this final round now. These other ladies will be noticing that, as the door is open for them to try and attack. Find some strokes on our leader. Anneli kicks right of the green. Some troubles getting all the way out of the trees. And Kaidi with an aggressive look. Really going for it. Maybe trying to save that par. And there is no shortage of trees here on hole 10. It's possible to find them on every shot. As this soft Anheuser release finds the ground and lies well within the circle. Maybe bumped something. Long look from circle 2 now for Jenni. Played out of the hand. We do see the flag pushing to the right. Wind was in play, especially once you break out of the woods here. That's Kaidi there, trying to save the par off the knee. She will find her first bogey of the final round. Silva. Finding strong side, but unfortunately not enough chains to stick. Jenni for, I believe, a bogey save. Par, excuse me. Very nice find there. Having some trickiness on the second shot, I believe. Still manages to save that. And a bogey for Silva. And a double. Excuse me. A double for Kaidi, not just a single. A significant stroke swing there. Hole 11. Par 3, only 71 meters with a very forgiving tunnel shot here. You have this basket perched way up on this hill. With this tricky green, you can find yourself in trouble very quickly. Being forced to putt nose up with today's wind, you can very quickly find yourself in trouble. There is OB directly left of the hill as well, meaning anything putting towards that is almost surely a layup. We have Jenni on the tee. Anneli finding very small bush on the right side fairway. She'll be short enough that it's a pretty, for sure, layup from there. This hole only becomes tricky when it's right in that sweet spot of should I putt it or should I lay it up, especially at this point in the tournament. Every stroke counts as Silva goes just long of the circle. She'll find herself going back now to the basket. And Kaidi showing first real weakness to her game in this final round last hole. This will be a big statement, and she slides it right up. She could putt that for birdie, but honestly I don't think she needs to, given her stroke lead. Although that is the sort of spot where most players would be running that for birdie. Given the current situation, I think it would be wise not to. Matches the grade of the hill there to stop any sort of roll. Anneli gets a little roll and then sits it down. You really have to be careful because you want to lay up as close to the basket as you can, but the higher up the hill you go, the more likely you find yourself rolling. Silva going for it, perhaps knowing that she's fading left away from OB, and that the strokes really could make the difference. She goes for the comebacker. That looks to have stayed in bounds. She is putting again, although now with a tailwind. Oh, she'll be happy to see that settle at the bottom of the basket, walking away with only a 4. Very interested to see if Kaidi goes for this. She is right up there. This is a prime throw. This is exactly where you want to throw it. This looks like she wants it. Very nice. Confident putt right there, directly towards OB. Nose up into headwind. That's the putt of a leading position player. Another scary putt for Jenni now, but manages to keep it in as well. This is Anneli for the safe 3. And likely rolled down the back. She's with a layup still off the missed putt. May have even found OB. As she takes a 5. The second and third positions constantly rotating between these competitors. And we saw at the score breakdown that some of the chase cards are also putting on the pressure. We go to hole 12. Par 4, 205 meters. This tee shot is an initial gap through the shortcut on the right. The drone takes a leftwards path that not many players will throw, as it makes the hole far longer. The best tee shots will get out into this open field, and if you throw it far enough, you can even have a straight look up to the basket perched on this hill. There is no artificial OB that comes into play very much on this hole, but all of these trees are very common guardians to find yourself contending with if you want to look for that birdie or even that par. A 4 is a good score on this one. This low gap on the right is what most of them will likely be playing for. Oh, and Kaidi actually splits the branches and gets a nice full flight. That is a great spot to be. And Jenni as well. Very nice. It looks like both of them may be a little bit high of the intended gap, but getting through cleanly, that is all you need. Silva looking like she's disking down a little bit here. Not going to that super sharp driver. She just opts for a nice placement shot, hits her gap with a great degree of control. Oh, but Anneli goes to that driver and hits it purely. That is a great spot to be as she slides herself up far and to the left. She will have the most open look down the gap for the second shot. From here where Silva is from the layup position, it's still a good 140 meters to the basket, but look at this turnover shot. She fades out left, but that is right in the sweet spot where there is no thick, so that is a fantastic shot. Jenni playing the backdoor to the green. Rather, sorry, confusing angle there. She plays the traditional fairway, but hangs it out a little bit to the left. Oh, Anneli really ripping on this one as it gets the late turning flight and the full fade. That is an incredible tee shot and an incredible approach to be having an inside the look putt for her birdie. Really well executed from Anneli there. Considering she just took a 5 on hole 11, that is a real statement to come into hole 12 and to execute those two shots like that. If you want to help and support coverage of European disc golf, make sure to check out the MDG Media Patreon, where you can get exclusive course content and extra bonuses. Jenni with a standstill from under the branches. Fading out a little bit early, but good distance control as she slides up right to the pin. She'll have about a 6-meter putt remaining. This is Silva's third shot. Just left of the fairway, she gets right up there. That is a very well executed par with 3 pretty perfect placement shots from Silva there. She'll be putting for 4. Oh, Kaidi. Looks like she wanted that one. Little wobble, but stays right under the basket. This is Anneli for birdie. Oh, and she finds it. That is an incredible composure. Coming off a 5 on hole 11 to pull that off. Really impressive from Anneli. This is not an easy birdie. Jenni does all the work to get up there, but unfortunately hits right side chains. She'll have a short comeback putt now. Silva with a solid game plan, executed it nicely. Kaidi takes an easy par there. Even had the long look for birdie. making sure to not give away any extra strokes to the field. Hole 13, par 3, 75 meters. This is sort of a pick your shot and try to birdie situation. You can play a backhand hyzer, a straight shot, a forehand hyzer. You do ideally want a straight to rightwards ending shot due to that OB path left and beyond. Some players even choosing though to play the forehand over that and skip back inbounds. We'll see which shot these players are most comfortable with, say to try to control their skip and distance. And Anneli just puring it. She is on a streak now. Really nailing her shots. That is right up there for a short birdie putt. Kaidi again sticking to her game plan and playing the lower right side hyzer. Finds some trouble. Likely a safe 3 though, as she'll be putting from a long way out towards that OB. Silva looking for that straight shot but overturning it. As Jenni finds some ground play, doesn't quite make it all the way to the circle, but will have a safe putt to run if she chooses to do so. Currently tied with Anneli, both of them one above Silva, who we see now with the approach. Very nice controlled shot there. Silva with a good touch to her shots, really able to hit those soft lines nicely. And Kaidi with a simple jump putt approach. This is Jenni for birdie. Oh, and she connects. Look at that. From circle to nose up in the wind, floats it in. Let's take a look at that pretty good replay. Beautiful height, and just as it runs out of energy, fades to the chains. That was pretty good. This is Anneli for birdie. She strings 2 together now. Really nicely done from her to fight back after a double bogey on 11. She has wiped both of those strokes out by the end of hole 13. Really good stuff. She is still battling for that second, third place position, maybe even first here. But our leader, not giving away too much, saves her par. Silva as well. Hole 14, another par 4, this one 189 meters. You see that Mando tree we just passed on the left, forcing players to this right side. They want to try and cross this walking path into this opening as they then contend with a very guarded green. You can enter the tunnel that the drone is flying, although many players will opt to go over the top, around the back. Entering this green is really difficult, and it feels like each lie you have, another option is the best one. We'll see this test the player's distance off the tee shot and then placement on the approach. That's a well-placed shot there. Jenni as well, finding herself right up there. Maybe wanting a little bit more distance to try and enter the green on the second. She may be far back, preventing her from finding an easy three. Kaidi here getting a hyzer flip that turns a little bit too much, and she kicks to the right. That will leave her with more distance, but is totally safe over there. Although right behind a tree, she may have a tricky stroke. Silva also with the hyzer flip, but fades out just before that tree and breaks into the opening. You can see now as the day continues, the beautiful weather that came in round 3 felt like 10 degrees warmer. And you can see kicking right actually put her on the green of hole 13. She gets a big forehand up there. That should be just fine. Solid placement shot. Jenni swinging the wide hyzer. Silva looking like she's going for more aggressive over the top line, although I'm not sure it had enough height. Looks to have gotten caught up. Anneli definitely trying to go up and over. She's in a fantastic spot. If she can get this close, she has a look to get her 3rd birdie in a row. She is really fighting in this back 9, the more difficult of the 2 9s. And you saw her disc on the right of the frame there just come into play down the middle. That should be an easy 4 from there. Kaidi still with some tricky work. Plays for the spike hyzer. I believe Jenni from the bushes here. Great scramble shot as she slides her way up with that low to the ground forehand. Finds the ground play she needed. Silva with that touch that we mentioned earlier. This is Anneli's 3rd shot. She likely just wants to put herself as close as possible. A little bit too much anhyzer out of the hand, but she has had a good putt the last few holes. I think that should be very doable for her, as Kaidi also has a solid scramble shot to put herself right underneath the basket. This is Anneli for par. Rock solid. No doubt whatsoever in that putt. This is Jenni for par. Silva as well. No one's second shot really making it all the way up to the green. Although for a very common score on this hole. And our leader drops in her bogey after a tricky shot off the tee. Hole 15, one of the longer par 3s at 118 meters. This late tunnel, about 70 meters or so down the fairway. You then want to fly another 50 through the gap up to the basket. A very difficult 2 to find that requires distance and precision, especially on those windy days. Can be tough to get. We'll see if they opt for the placement shot and go for 3, or if they attack in this final 9 and play for aggressive position. Anneli overturning. Common sight here on 15 when you really want to go for it. A little bit too much juice. Jenni with a beautiful hyzer flip straight down the middle. Check that out. A solid 105 meters of flight. She'll be just outside circle 1, putting for birdie. Silva looking for this soft flex. She gets the turn, does not quite find the fade, but kicks back to the middle. And Kaidi, again, she has opted for the placement hyzer all 3 rounds, choosing to play to that left side rough, if not right before it, and then try to take a simple upshot, really cutting the hole in half here, ensuring that she pretty much doesn't get into too much trouble, likely taking a 3. Oh, but we saw from there absolutely no look. Anneli now trying to get up to the green. And a good touch to keep that one right up there, about 6-meter putt. Oh, and a nice lofty bid there from Silva. She's had a really nice command of those approaches in this final 9. Great to see that one. She may be a bit off a lot there, although holes are running out. Oh, this is an error. That was a significant mistake from, I believe, Kaidi. But, yep. Throws straight through, puts herself back into the circle for a bogey. Oh, Silva pretty close to the middle on that putt, but finds a tap in 4. And Anneli with the solid putting performance continuing here, because of her first shot does unfortunately find the bogey, but otherwise a well executed hole. Our leader as well taking the 4. And Jenni with a very nice upshot, tee shot rather, gives herself a chance, takes an easy 3. And a stroke on the card.
Get through it! What is going on?
Holy cow, an eagle!
Niklas!
What just happened?
80. On a harp. This is looking really good. Going in?
Oh
my
my
gosh!
Whoa, whoa!
Within even 30 meters. Let's give it a chance.
Get it! Oh, he did it! What a highlight putt!
A little showmanship. So cool. Thank you for that.
Only 3 holes left. Hole 16. A demanding par 4, although it's only 180 meters. You see that initial gap out of the trees that you absolutely have to hit if you want to find a chance at birdie. You then try and get up and over this field into the ripping winds. This field very open and exposed. Always had heavy gusts from all sides. You need perfect precision on the first, big distance and placement on the second, if you want any look at that 3. And Jenni now still just 1 stroke ahead of Silva and Anneli. On the tee here, she does clear that gap, gets a great amount of distance. That is a solid spot. She will have a chance to attack for birdie from there. Anneli as well, picture perfect down the middle. That's how you do it. Silva kicking to the left side. You want to be as close to the edge of the tree line as possible to minimize the chance you get stuck in there. Kaidi going slightly higher although friendly to not kick in either direction, just falls straight down. So you see Silva here, still very much in the rough, with very small gaps to hit. She gets out of the initial tree line, but will still have a bush to contend with. We see Kaidi here. And some good distance on that. Fights her way up there. She'll have about 30-40 meters to the basket. Try to secure her safe par. And this is tough. This is actually right by the tee of hole 18. That bush in there. But she chooses to pitch out. We got Jenni now. A little bit overcooked on that one. Didn't get the full flight, but still definitely enough distance for a pretty stress-free 4. Oh, but look at that shot. Really nicely done from Silva. Right at circle's edge, looking to make a long putt. That was a good throw. Anneli with a rip off the tee, throwing her second one now. Another one just a little bit too low as that high floor comes into play on the hill. Doesn't get enough time in the air to fade. And Kaidi has thrown this pretty nose up. She will be fading down the hill away from the basket. She exposed the flight plate there to that right to left wind going down this fairway, and you saw that just take her disc. So we see some upshots now, a very fast green here. Really nice control from those last 2 shots. Make sure to keep it nice and slow, however you can. Silva going for that putt, knowing that she needs it at this point. She is currently tied with Anneli and 1 behind Jenni. Who you see putting now. Frustrated look there. Silva taking her double. Not quite getting out the tree line on the first shot. Very rarely ending in par if that happens. Jenni finding the single bogey. Had the chance at par there. Unfortunately unable to capitalize. But Anneli taking a stress-free 4. Actually taking some strokes here on the 2 competitors she was most closely competing with. And Kaidi takes the bogey as well, a slightly errant upshot. She brings it back, puts it in for 5, still maintaining a pretty significant lead. Hole 17, a 94-meter par 3 that has this enormous horizontal tree line dead center in the middle of the fairway. These players will be forced to go either through the tiny gap or more likely up and over with a forehand or backhand hyzer. These players will need to control their fade as they go up and then hopefully down towards this green. You can kind of just throw a bomb and try to hit these back trees and let it fall. It is very difficult to go too long on this hole. The error is very often short as they're needing to throw up and over the trees into some wind. Oh, but given the conditions, Anneli getting aggressive and going for the low line really cuts off the distance required. Much easier to get it all the way there if you can pure that, but it is a very small gap late off the tee. Jenni looking to shape the flex. Not sure if that turned over enough. Likely faded out left. Kaidi also playing that low to the ground turnover line as she fights through all of those trees. She looks to be right up at edge of circle putting, I think underneath the branches, but more than enough distance. to have a look. The most traditional line of the three, Silva, taking it up and over, also getting a little bit of a flip up and then fading out. She'll be circled 2 for her birdie look. And unfortunately, after the results of the last hole, she has fallen 2 strokes behind Jenni and Anneli, who are battling for that 2nd and 3rd place position. This is the rough you find yourself in if you come up short. Very low ceiling. This is now Kaidi, I believe. I think very happy to take the easy 3 here. Yep. Silva, knowing she needs it, gets aggressive with the birdie putt and hits chains and falls out. It's a valiant bid from circle 2. And Anneli puts it in for her 3. Kaidi the same. Jenni also finding the 3 from the bushes on her 2nd. We are seeing a par frame here on 17, meaning no strokes have changed. Going into 18, Kaidi Allsalu is your leader. Jenni and Anneli tied at 19 over par. Silva 2 strokes behind them. This is it. The final hole of the final round here of the 2023 Copenhagen Open. Hole 18, a daunting par 5, 327 meters. You have an initial island off the tee that you have to remain within. This whole section that the drone is flying over now, OB, until you hit these white flags. You have OB left, right, and short, needing to cross the river into this fairway here. You want to land as far up as you can to then rip another big shot towards this tucked away green. If you can manage to beat all of the trees and slide your way up into this green, you also have OB long, OB left, and can still find trouble very quickly. A nervy putt to test your confidence at the very end. Anneli, first off the tee. This looks to be a great shot. The only real mistake you want to avoid making here is going too early to that left side, as that marks the OB of the island. But that looks to be a great shot. Anywhere near the 2 short tees of the hole 18 layout is a good spot to be throwing from. Jenni as well, also nicely positioned. Kaidi with the eye of the tiger, knowing that she is just a few throws away from being the champion here. Really well positioned shot. Gets very close to that left side. The closer you are forwards and left, the less distance you have to cross over OB on the 2nd, meaning it's very much a risk-reward situation. And for what it's worth, all 3 days had a vicious headwind blowing directly at you on the 2nd shot to the 4th here on hole 18. As you see a little bit in the hair of the spectator there, she is throwing into a straight headwind here. Needing to cross about 90 meters to get in bounds. That looks like a great hyzer flip. You want to take a stable disc and rip it, and that is exactly what she did. Picture perfect shot. Days 1 and 2 were significantly windier, but it was never absent. Day 3, the friendliest day for hole 18 to try and attack. Silva gets right up there safe, pushes that left out of bounds line a little bit, but a few meters short. She will be no problem in a great spot. Anneli, this, I'm sure she wanted to turn a little bit more. Those trees are right about at the OB line. You have to go past them to be safe. Normally, if you hit them, you're fine, but if you kick back towards you off them, you can find trouble. But all 3 players making it inbounds. Kaidi also playing with those trees and the left OB. Oh, also just a few meters safe inbounds. all of our players have crossed the river. Now it's some big distance shots to try and get to the green. Oh, and Anneli shows us exactly that huge hyzer flip. Silva from that left side looking to, get the full flex. That looked like it was turning and burning out of her hand, but a great stability on that disc as it really fought out of it and pushed forwards the whole way. Kaidi also playing the big hyzer. Gets a little bit caught up, but she is right up there for a simple approach to the green. With this elevated basket, you want to get as close as you can. Try to end out confidently. Jenni ripping this. This is her third shot. Hitting some similar branches. They will all be positioned still a throw away from the green. We see Jenni again now. Tied with Anneli, every shot here could count. And she is not in the circle. That is a very tricky spot to putt from. She may need to, depending on the shots from the rest of the card here. Kaidi also a little bit short, but just playing safe, she can pitch that up and really make sure not to take much risk. And Anneli with a great shot here, puts it right by the basket. That is a confident approach that may just be the difference here between podium positions. When it mattered most, Silva the same, showing an absolute control over her approach shot. Kaidi with a jump putt here. I think still a little bit further away than she would like to be, approaching from that distance, but a putt she can make, no doubt. Jenni simply laying that one up. Wow, your leader here, Kaidi Allsalu, putting in the final putt of the tournament. Congratulations to her, a fantastic performance here at the 2023 Copenhagen Open. An Estonian champion here this year for the FPO field. We see Jenni there taking her bogey, meaning that she is 20 over par. Silva as well with a very close upshot taking par, and Anneli as she drops that in, taking the par, remaining at 19 over.
Ladies and gentlemen, Women's Open Division winner, Copenhagen Open, Kaidi Allsalu.
And a fantastic performance throughout all three rounds from Kaidi Allsalu, holding the lead the entire way. Fantastic command of the forehand, backhand, and putting on the green really showed why she is your 2023 Copenhagen Open FPO champion. As we take a look at the final standings, in second place, Anneli, 19 over par, really battled it out with a huge performance on that back nine to secure that second spot solo, with Heidi Leine and Jenni Karppinen tied in third at 20 over par. Thank you very much for joining here today. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll make sure to catch you at the Belgian Open in just a couple weeks. Adios.